Recommended Democrats should put up more of a fight and go down to these federal agencies, bang on the doors, demand access. Well, maybe they were listening. They did that. They've gone to USAID, the Department of Education. It hasn't had much of an impact. So what now?
Yeah, Dan, I was wrong because it looked more like a seniors home and a canceled Jell-O night. It just wasn't optically a good moment for us. In terms of what we should do is be more optimistic and future looking.
One of the things that he has is he loves dank memes and jokes, and he loves to make jokes himself and then laugh at his own jokes. And then all the people who work for him laugh at him, and therefore he thinks he's funny. And he's not funny. He's sometimes funny, I guess. I never thought so. But he likes to do this. He likes to engage in sort of these juvenile little pranks. And when he's not doing that, he likes to insult people. And all kidding aside, we don't mind being called these names. But it's a 53-year-old man does not do this. I mean, or this one does. And so he just this is what he likes. He likes to slag people. I guess it's part of video game culture or something, but I find it unusual.
Are Democrats and their media allies truly serving the interests of the American people, or are they pushing a specific agenda that needs critical examination? That's what we are here to consider. I am going to be talking about an echo chamber effect. The disconnect with the working class, the hypocrisy of outrage, and the illusion of unity.
I want to hear why, but do you think that calling Elon Musk a dick is effective messaging for confronting what is a potentially irreversible transformation of the U.S. government?
Well, he is a dick. And I think he's also harming the American public in an enormous way. And what I think is really important, and what the American public want, is for us to bring actual weapons to this bar fight. This is an actual fight for democracy, for the future of this country. And it's important to push back on the chairperson of this committee. I mean, Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about having decorum, about bipartisanship. This is the person that lies more than anybody else in the entire Congress. And so if she is going to make a mockery of hearings, I want to make sure that us as Democrats are bringing that same level of energy. And of course, after those comments, we went into exactly what Elon Musk is trying to do: dismantling the Department of Labor, dismantling the Department of Education, dismantling all of our consumer protection agencies. And so it's all important, but it's also important to get the attention of the American public and call Elon Musk out for what he is, and to make people know that Marjorie Taylor Greene is not a serious legislator, and she shouldn't be treated as such.
Leadership right now.
Well, they would notably argue that they're trying to have some oversight. They would like to know what the functions that he is doing are. They want more transparency, and they don't like power being ceded to him with little, frankly, accountability or even that transparency. That doesn't give you pause?
Sure, that's what I said. I'm conflicted because the way this is being approached, look, if I could wave my magic wand, I would also identify ways to reduce waste in the federal government. When I ran for president, Laura, that was one of my propositions, to engage one of the world's foremost consulting firms to literally look at the entire federal budget and make thoughtful recommendations to Congress about how we could actually become more efficient, more effective. And that was a proposition of mine. Unfortunately, Democrats are only focused on one thing right now, Mr. Musk. The fact of the matter, he's quite popular. He has the largest platform in human history, which is, of course, Twitter/X. And I think we're missing the boat as Democrats. And all I'm saying is that sometimes it's better to join them and actually play a role in how the strategy works, rather than so pathetically, frankly, try to combat something that clearly is a steamroller, and Democrats are being steamrolled. And I'm deeply concerned about that. Yes, Musk is not elected. He has no accountability other than Donald Trump, and that's a frightening combination. And I don't want to cross my fingers. I think Democrats should join the club and then have more credibility to actually raise the alarm about constitutional issues. Right now, it's the boy who cried wolf.
Well, fair point. And yet they feel he may be more polarizing than popular. And
let's start with the echo chamber. We all know it exists, but the question is, how deep does it run? Are CNN and MSNBC truly objective news sources, or are they primarily amplifiers of Democratic talking points? The source mentions liberal Scott Galloway and Kara Swisher with their CNN puppet Dana Bash breaking down and laughing at the utter hopelessness of their current political situation. If outlets become echo chambers, viewers are primarily exposed to perspectives that reinforce existing beliefs, limiting exposure to alternative viewpoints. This creates a cycle of confirmation bias, where people only seek out information that confirms what they already believe, further entrenching their positions. This is dangerous. Now let's talk about the working class. For decades, the Democratic Party claimed to be their champion, the voice of the common man and woman. But has that changed? Are they still fighting for the same people, or have they become disconnected, more focused on other issues? Is the Democratic Party primarily composed of aging, bitter elites? How might this demographic shift affect their connection with the working class? If the Democratic Party and its media proponents are not adequately addressing the concerns and needs of the working class, it can lead to a sense of alienation and disillusionment. People may feel that their voices are not being heard and that their concerns are not being taken seriously. This is a big one. It seems like every day there's a new outrage, a new scandal, a new reason to be angry. But how often do we see that same level of outrage directed inward at the Democratic Party itself? Do Democrats and their media allies express outrage over certain actions or statements while seemingly overlooking similar behavior from within their own ranks? According to one source, Marjorie Taylor Greene talks about having decorum about bipartisanship, but is the person that lies more than anybody else in the entire Congress. Is the level of scrutiny and criticism applied fairly across the political spectrum? This perceived hypocrisy can erode trust and credibility, leading to accusations of bias and double standards. We're constantly told that the Democratic Party is united, that they're all on the same page, fighting for the same goals. But is that really true? Is there room for dissent, for different opinions, for honest debate? Or is there pressure to conform, to fall in line, to avoid rocking the boat? This source mentions Democratic figures like Dean Phillips, who express concerns about the party's direction. Are these dissenting voices given adequate space and consideration within the party and its media outlets? If not, what does that say about the state of the Democratic Party? The source notes that the most amusing thing about that clip is how that CNN operative kept getting defensive whenever Phillips was making valid points about Democrats. So, what's the solution? How can the Democratic Party and its media allies address these issues and regain the trust of the American people? It starts with introspection, with honesty, with a willingness to admit mistakes and change course. There needs to be a greater emphasis on intellectual honesty, critical thinking, and open dialogue within the party and its media ecosystem. The Democratic Party needs to reconnect with the concerns and needs of the working class, focusing on policies that promote economic opportunity and social mobility. We need a more balanced and nuanced media landscape where diverse viewpoints are given fair consideration and critical analysis is encouraged. Look, this wasn't about tearing down the Democratic Party. It was about holding them accountable, about asking tough questions, and about demanding better from our political leaders and our media outlets. The future of our country depends on informed citizens who are willing to think critically, challenge conventional wisdom, and engage in respectful dialogue. I want to know what you think. Do you agree with my assessment? Are there other issues that I missed? Let me know in the comments below. And as always, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and support the channel.